Shalom, shalom, everybody. I hope everybody is enjoying their Sunday. We are out at our community garden trying to get our plot started. We're getting started late in the season, and it's because we want to plant collard greens. So that'll be the first thing we plant this season, and we want to make sure that our seniors have some type of fresh vegetables or fruits. So we're going to start with collard greens because I heard that that is easy. So we wanted to just share with you all about what we want to do in our community and hope others can join in other states. What we do is we give one bag of groceries to seniors in our community. And we started this in Gary, Indiana. Just me and my husband. And we gave food in Indiana, and he was a truck driver. And any produce that he would have left over, he also gave that away too. So we've been doing this for quite some time. But we wanted to branch out and expand and reach more seniors. Currently, right now, for the last 2 years, we've been carrying 10 seniors. 10 seniors for the last 2 years. Now, we have fed way more than that. But on a consistent basis for the last 2 years, we have fed 10 seniors. And we want to expand a little at a time and feed 10 more seniors. Our bags cost about $10 a bag. Very economical. And the seniors love what we give. So we don't want to change that. We asked seniors, did they like our bags? How could we improve it? And they said that the bags were perfect. So right now we serve a bag of beans, rice, Vienna sausage because they love Vienna sausage, soup, a can of soup, and crackers, cookies, spaghetti, and the meat sauce. And we also want to incorporate fresh fruits and vegetables. Now, me and my husband, we cater to our community, meaning we cater to the black community first. And it's not to be racist or anything like that. It's just that our people are really at the bottom. And what me and my husband have found out is that our people need the help the most. I've been to a mostly white senior community, and I went into the building as I do with each senior community, and I started to give my presentation on how I wanted to come into the senior building and help and give food and to see what the need was. And all of the white seniors got up and walked out on me as I was talking. That's a true story. They all got up and they walked out on me. And I was so devastated because that had never happened before. But even back in Gary, we geared more toward the black seniors because they were the most impoverished. So, I just said to myself, let me go back and go to where the need is. And of course it's a lot in the urban areas, in the black community. And a lot of seniors are forgotten. And with the way that this economy is going and with the way that this administration is going, the senior living is spiraling downward very rapidly. Even though the lifespan of seniors, they're living longer, their quality of life is not the greatest. And when we go into these homes to help some of them, you really know that they need help. I've even had seniors share with me that it's between food and medication. Literally seniors are having to choose between whether they're going to eat or whether they're going to be medicated. And that's another reason why I want to expand, because we also want to create senior living. So my husband and I, we want to buy these homes, small homes, and we want to put seniors in them. And that idea came because one day I was delivering to seniors, and a group of seniors was living in the home, and they were asking could they have more than one bag, because it's only one bag per household to make sure that everybody gets. And they were explaining to me that they opted to live together so that their cost of living, would pan out with their limited income. So they thought it was wise to share a home and share the bills rather than one senior struggling to keep their home. And I thought that was a brilliant idea. I know a lot of people don't want to lose their homes. They want to keep their homes and their lands. But again, the way that the economy and the system is set up, our seniors are struggling. So my husband and I thought it would be a wonderful idea to buy homes, put a little work into them, and put seniors in them. I'm also in the nursing field, and that's another reason why I'm expanding my education in nursing, so that I can educate seniors to a more holistic way of living, meaning that a lot of the medications that they have the seniors on is just way too much. It is way too much. But that's another topic. But that's the reason why I am pursuing my nursing LPN degree, so that I can further it and go the holistic route and take a lot of holistic classes to teach people about natural herbs and oils that will help with ailments. And it's been proven through scientific research that natural herbs and oils and just eating more organic vegetables and fruits really will improve your quality of life. So, we have a big vision. And I'm also in the transportation. My husband and I own a trucking company, and my husband has been in the trucking business for over 20 years. So we will also like to add transportation for our seniors, safe transportation to and from their doctor visits, to and from the grocery stores, etc. So our organization, we want to expand, and we're doing it a little at a time. We're praying by 2019 that we will buy our first piece of property and have that as a prototype to put a couple of seniors, maybe 2 or 3 seniors in there to see, how things go. And because I will be a nurse, I also can attend to any medical needs if that come about. And it's just a prototype. So we really, really would love for you all to donate. As I said in the previous post, $2 will buy a senior a bag of beans and rice. And you all don't believe it, but those seniors stretch that bag of beans and rice for at least a few days. I've heard a week, and it just depends on the appetite of the senior. I heard a week, but definitely they stretch that bag of groceries, and it really does help. So you don't have to donate a whole lot. We're not specific. $1 will help. Anything will help, because the government and the world do not care about our seniors. The people of color, they do not care about our seniors. It's time that we start to support one another in our communities. We can't sit and fight the government. This government was built for them and by them. And so we have to take back the power. The black dollar is phenomenal. We don't understand how much economic power that we have amongst us. It's a whole lot I can say about that, but really, our black dollar, we can support our own schools, our own businesses, and even our own charities. I've dealt with the Red Cross and the Salvation Army and these different organizations. No, they're not helping us nearly as much as I know they can. with the budgets that they have, they do not. And that's another story. I have done a lot of research. I have even done my own undercover investigation on a lot of these so-called charities. They are false. And I can assure you that me and my husband, we have careers, and we take of our income and we pour it into our own charity. And sometimes more than that. But the bare minimum, 10% of our income, we even have our children taking a portion of their income that they make, and they pour it into the charity as well, because we want to teach them not only to give, but to give to charities that have character and integrity. Because a lot of stuff that you all are giving to, they are not doing right with it. They are not doing what they are supposed to do with it. Okay? And me and my husband, we have been doing this for years. And this is the first time that we have really started to ask for help. We were kind of prideful at one point where we didn't want nobody to help us, because we just felt like people didn't want to help, that people were looking into themselves a lot. But, we had to get out of that mentality. And the Most High, started with us, that we have to be a community. This is not a one-man show. So we are reaching out to all of you to help us to reach 10 more seniors. And we're trying to expand, but we don't want to do it, too quickly, because we've done that. I mean, at one point, we were serving at least 50 seniors a month. And then when our business crashed, we couldn't support anybody. So when we started to support again a few years ago, I prayed and said, Father, give me how many seniors you think that we can handle on our own. And the magic number was 10. And so we've been supporting 10 seniors faithfully for the last 2 years. So we want to add on 10 more seniors. As I said before, it's $10 a bag. You don't have to donate $10, but you can donate something. I see a lot of posts where a lot of people are spending, and I do too. I go on vacations and cruises too, but I make sure that I give in my community. I make sure that I do what I believe. I believe that the Most High, our Creator, said to take care of the poor, the widows, the orphans, and that's what I do. I just don't read those words. I live by those words. And I can tell you one thing, that's since I have been living by those words, by helping others, there has not been a time that when we needed help that we don't get it. There are blessings upon blessings when you help the poor, the widow, and the orphans. But you have to sow your seed in correct ground. If you are sowing your seed in corrupt ground, you are not going to reap anything. No benefits, as my husband said, and we are a witness to that. We have sold thousands upon thousands of dollars to different people and churches, and we were like, why are we not even seeing anything when our time came that we needed? And we realized we had to go back to some scriptures and realize we were sowing into corrupt ground. We were sowing into unfertile ground. So when we changed the way we were thinking, and we started reading the word for ourselves, and we started taking our money and actually going out and helping the poor, the needy, and the orphans and the widows, we saw that we gained a harvest. Now, you don't give to get a harvest, but what I'm saying is you reap what you sow, okay? And if you're not sowing, you're not reaping. And it is in our hearts to give. It is in our hearts to give. So be mindful of where you sow. Be mindful of where you sow. And it's time that we start supporting our own. It's time that we really start supporting our own. So like I said, right now we are getting our garden plot ready for collard greens so that we can serve them with that this winter. Hopefully, we'll have a good harvest. This is our very first time. So hopefully we'll have a good harvest, and if it's good, we'll buy another plot. These plots are $25 a plot for all year long. And Here are some plots that are not being used. You know, you see the big weeds. Nobody is doing anything with them. And they are here. I'm located in Fayetteville, North Carolina. And yes, we have a community garden, $25 a plot for the whole year. So I think that's a great deal. And right now we're just starting off with one because, like I said, this is our first plot and we want to see how we do. So I'm hoping that if anybody out there that would like to start anything like what we're doing, I say do it. Because how this pantry was birthed, I was sitting in a particular church and I was so angry because I saw that this particular church was not doing right. And I'm not going to call no names, put nobody on blast. But this particular church was not doing right with the food that they were getting for free. And I was so angry, and I remember sitting in the sanctuary going off in my head saying, you know, this is not right. Why are they doing this? It's hungry people out here. They're actually turning people away, and they know they just took the food for themselves. I'm sorry, but that's the truth, and I'm not going to take that back. They were taking the food for themselves, and I'm like, it's people out here hungry. And the Most High told me clear as day while I'm fussing in my mind, going back and forth. He said, what are you doing? And I'm looking around like, what in the world? He said, what are you doing? Even if you have to take a bag of groceries, put it in the trunk of your car and go give it to one person, do something. And I mean, I took those words to heart, and I got up off my behind and I told my husband, and I said, that's what we're going to do. And that's how our food pantry was birthed. One bag at a time. So, you know, as I said, $10 a bag. Even if you can feed one person, even if you can feed two people, start it because we're going to need it. We are in the end times, and things are spiraling down fast. But for those of us who understand our position, there are going to be those of us who have some type of authority. And if we're smart enough, we're going to have some type of resources and finances to be able to help our people. You know, and again, that's another video. But I'm a firm believer that the times are winding up, and our people have to look out for us. I'm not saying that we don't help other people, because of course I've helped white, black, Latino, Chinese. I've helped them all in this food pantry. But the target is the black community, because like I said again, our seniors, nobody is paying attention. Nobody is paying attention. When you go in the grocery stores, look around at your seniors. Look in their carts. And that's going to tell you that I am telling the truth. When I go in the Dollar Tree, when I go in Walmart and I see a senior, their cart is never full. And it is because they have to choose between medicine or food. Some of them don't get food stamps, and the ones that do, they get a very tiny amount. And it's very sad the way that our government do our seniors. And we also have to remember that back in the day, okay, the cost of living was so cheap, and so the income was so cheap. So when they go to collect Social Security, they're not collecting what you think they're collecting. They may be collecting a few $100s. But we young people don't understand that. We don't understand how government and economics work. We really don't in the black community. And so you're thinking, well, they have, you know, $700, $1,000. No, they don't. Some of them have $200, $300. They are under the poverty line. So please keep that in mind. You can go to our website, the SeniorSocietyNC.com. You can donate via PayPal. I'm also on Zelle. I have the Zelle thing where you can transfer money, I guess, through the Zelle app. And I'm trying to get more up to date, you know, maybe do a Patreon and things of that nature. But again, I said little by little. little by little. So if you all have any good information for us to help us to expand, we would love to hear your feedback. But right now, we're helping the seniors and the disabled. We start from 55 and up. You have to be 55 years old and up. And the reason why the age is so low is because some 55-year-olds are disabled. So we're making sure we're hitting the poor, the disabled, the widows, and we have plans for the orphans. We have plans for the orphans. So I gotta let my husband talk a little bit about his mentor, and then I gotta help him because he done did half this plot as I'm talking. And I haven't did nothing. So honey, you want to say something about your mentor program? Let me get closer.
Hello, Facebook friends.
Silly.
My interest is young African American men in single female households. At a certain age, there's nothing a woman can do to make that young man into a man. So there are certain criteria that they can't reach at that point because they don't have the mentality nor the hormone boost that these young men have. And it's kind of hard because I'm a much older guy, and in my household, it was my mom, my brothers, my grandparents, and my great-grandmother. So there was always an extended family, and that's how I was raised, that no matter what, you take care of your elders. So it's kind of disheartening that we've gotten away from that at this point, because at one time, our communities were so strong economically. That was the reason for segregation, because they wanted the money. They didn't want us to be in their neighborhoods. That was just a concession they had to give to allow them to access the economic wealth that we possess. So we had to understand that as black people, and we had to know our history. White people don't want us in their communities, in their neighborhoods. But we had to take care of our own community. We had to understand that our communities are our responsibility. And as I think about it, there's so many things going on with these young black guys that it doesn't make any sense. With all the prominent male figures in our community, there shouldn't be a young black man running around with his pants sagging. There shouldn't be a young black man running around cursing at people. There shouldn't be a young black man on the corner selling dope, because they aren't aware of who they are and where they come from and what the opportunities that they have now. There was people that gave up their lives for these opportunities, so they don't know their history, and that's another thing that we, as the older generation, had to instill upon these young people. But that's my mission, and I started my program, and I'm actually working with my nephew, who was a former gangbanger, and he's been in jail a couple of times, and I'm working with him to kind of put him on the straight path. And it's kind of challenging, even though my mother was an integral part of raising him. She passed away when he was 13 years old, so he was right at that point where he really needed some guidance. We weren't able to get a hold of him at that time, so that was kind of disheartening. We ended up going into the foster care system. We don't want our children to be a part of the system if there's a way that we can help, and that's our responsibility and our obligation. So at this point, I'm gonna give it back to my wife, Christina, and my other point is that I have a degree in collision repair. I went to school for that purpose, so I could actually try to help these young men learn a trade. So that was the other thing that I wanted to be an inspiration to them, and I wanted to inspire them and teach them that there's other ways to make a living and provide for your family without having a gun in your pocket or selling drugs on the corner. So that was my idea of how I could give back to the community. Thanks. Have a great day.
Yes, so there's a whole lot more to that testimony. And I just wanted to say to all the young women out there that, my husband came into our lives and adopted all 5 of my children. So he's just not sitting on Facebook telling you something. He's actually living it. He came in to our lives, adopted the children, gave them his last name, and the rest is history. And he's been a very integral part of their lives into who you see that, them turning into. And I know that I couldn't have done that continuing being a single mother. I know I couldn't. And I'm so glad that the Most High sent him into my life. And hey, Mama Reva, and she introduced us, and our story is so funny. But that's another time. Our story is so funny. But yes, his mentoring program, he wants to mentor, young men and even grown men. I tell him all the time, people in our age category sometimes need mentoring because sometimes they lost. Sometimes they are lost. So, I try to tell him, don't limit it to the younger people because there's some older people who need guidance as well. So our vision is big and we're doing it one person at a time. Like he said, he's starting with his nephew Marcus. And Marcus was adopted. Marcus was adopted and was in the system, and Robert's mother adopted him. Okay, and he was born with drugs in his system. Yes, on crack. Yeah, he was born with crack in his system, and Robert's mother took him on and raised him. Okay, so we're serious when we say we want to reach the poor, the widows, and the orphans. We're very serious. And when she passed away, he really didn't have that guidance. So now we're stepping in, and even though he's 21, he's still willing to listen. He's very mannerable, even though he was in gangs and got all his tats and sold drugs. He is still mannerable, and I believe that was because of what Robert's mother instilled into that young man. So as the Black community, we are powerful, okay? We are powerful, and we need to take back our communities. We need to support one another, as best as we can. I know that a lot of people are struggling, but you can give up $1 because I'm telling you, that $1 that you give to a poor, a needy, a widow, or orphan will really turn into a great harvest. Okay, so we are full of integrity. We're not taking people money out here and buying, cars and houses and things like that. We have careers. And as I stated before, we pour into our own charity. We are not 501c3. Okay, we're not 501c3. That's for personal reasons. I honestly believe that the government is going to start to tax the church real soon because the church brings in too much money, And I've asked a lot of pastors and ministers, give me one good reason why I need to be a 501c3. And they can't. They cannot give me a good reason. So I am not a 501c3. That means I'm not tracked heavily by the government. I am a non-for-profit, but I'm not heavily tracked like that. We pay our taxes if we raise over $5,000 or more. Then they'll begin to make us pay our taxes. But I'll pay the taxes because I tell you what, the government is not going to tell me who I can reach, how I can reach them, and if I should pray or if I should have Bible study. Some states heavily regulate. They heavily regulate, and I'm going to leave it at that.
And one more thing, there was a guy that I worked with, and he was a deacon in the church, and he had a food pantry.
Oh.
And this particular guy, he would he would he would talk to the Hispanic guys at my job and tell them for $20 you can come over there and get food out the food pantry as much as you want.
Trifling.
Instead of
Trifling.
putting the food out in the community where it was supposed to be, because he was getting it for free from a food bank with his 501c3. So it's about integrity and what's in your heart. If you're given the opportunity to do right and you choose to do wrong, then there's something within you.
That's right.
So you have to check your heart
That's right.
to know what your purpose is. But I thought I'd just add that on to what my wife was saying.
Yes. Let me face me so I can say hello. Hello, everybody. So, yes. So that's so true. When I heard that story about that man charging Hispanics who he know were poor to buy food from his food pantry, that's crazy.
It wasn't even the poor people; it was the guys who were working at the job.
That's so sad.
He was
so sad.
He was charging these guys that worked at the job, which didn't need them. They could buy their own food.
And that's the sad part. That's the sad part.
You're taking food away from people who
poor.
actually need it and can't afford
right.
to buy it. That's
right.
the whole point I'm trying to make.
Yeah, we're very passionate. We're very passionate, and we've seen a lot. So we've seen a lot. We've experienced a lot with churches and organizations and the Red Cross and Salvation Army, and it's pitiful. I'm sorry, it's pitiful. So we, as a community, have to take charge of helping our own. And if anybody out there who wants to start their own, food pantry, it's easy. It starts with you. You don't need to have a big grant. Those things are nice, but you don't need that, because the Most High wants you to start with that little bitty mustard seed of faith, and He will have people to pour into you, to give you the resources, because sometimes it's not all about money. It's about resources. It's about resources. So you want to put yourself in the path of resources, but start with your $1, $2. Start with your little bag of groceries, because we need to help one another. All right, so I'll be posting more and more about our food pantry, and we got things to come. I want to start interviewing people, letting you all hear the wisdom of the seniors. So that's coming up. I'm going to do blogs to let you know in this economy how the seniors are doing. Okay? And most of all, we just hope you donate and start your own food pantry. We ain't the only ones. Start your own food pantry.
Every community needs it.
Yes, every community needs a food pantry like this. And we don't allow the seniors to come to us. We get in our car and we take it to them. And that's because, as you all know, seniors have a hard time getting out. They're sick. They're shut in. The Bible says to go to the sick and shut in. So why are we having food pantries where we're excluding the seniors because you want them to come up there, but you don't have a portion of your people to take the food to the sick and the shut in? The seniors, some of them don't drive. Some of them are too sick to drive. We got to think and stop patterning ourselves after other so-called charities. We got to think. The Most High gives us creative ideas.
We got to think outside the box, outside the norm. And that's our problem. We see how other charities do things, and we want to emulate those. But we, as black people, are smarter than most people. We're more creative.
Yes.
We've been in situations where we had to make things work.
That's right.
So we know how to do these things.
That's right.
So it's easier for us to come up with a plan and an idea to make something happen.
That's right.
All we had to do is put the work in.
Yes. So, what we're doing is very creative. We don't know anybody else that have done this, and that's what we've been told. Even the Red Cross called me. The Red Cross called me because at one point in time we were hitting the neighborhood so heavy, and they were calling, and the Red Cross literally asked me, how do you get your funds to do what you do? And at that time, we had our trucking business, so we were able to fund quite a few seniors on our own. And I told her, with our own money, I was very straightforward. I don't have no government money in terms of loans and grants. With our own money. So if you believe in paying tithes, your tithes should be going to that also. Don't leave that out. Yes, I understand the maintenance of buildings and blah, blah, blah. But a portion of your tithe should be going to help your community. All right, so we're going to end it here. You want to say something else,
Yeah,
honey?
one more thing. I was in the grocery store and I was on my lunch break at work and I had 20 minutes run up there. I was going to get some popsicles for the guys at the job. I was in line and the elderly lady was in front of me and she was counting out her money. She didn't have enough to pay for her groceries. And I could see the look of dismay on her face because I know she needed this food. So she went out to the car to try to get some more money from the lady that she was riding with. And I told the cashier, I said, look, just go ahead and put all that on my bill and I'll pay for it. So sometimes you have to see for yourself how these seniors are suffering, and you have to have it in your heart to want to help somebody. I took some of my bill money. That's fine and dandy. My bill still got paid. So sometimes you just have to make a sacrifice because the Lord gonna make a way for you. He always does. And that's it for me.
All right. I love you all, and I'm going to be hitting you hard with these videos and these posts because the time has come. This government, in my opinion, is about to collapse. And we who have intelligence and insight need to be in positions to help our communities. Okay? So remember I said that in a little while, this government is going to collapse and chaos is going to break out. But we are intelligent enough to hear from God and creative enough to hear from God, to hear what He is telling us to do as a people, because He always saved His people. He always saved a remnant. Okay, He don't never let the righteous go forsaken. You never see His seed begging for bread. So if you really believe in that scripture, then come on and get aboard and let's help one another. All right, until next time. Shalom. Love you all.